So talking election matters, the Labour Party has disclosed that it will come up with its campaign team in the coming days. At the inaugural briefing of the support group, it identified that the tone and texture of campaign should not be one that is aggressive, but that speaks to contemporary realities. Habib Alawal reports.
With a few weeks to the formal takeoff of electioneering activities, the main contenders for the 2023 election are taking on different issues affecting the polity. Violent crimes, including terrorism, kidnapping and banditry, are on an upward swing. The Labour Party candidate support group Obi-Dient Movement is having its maiden outing. At this inaugural press conference, it expresses confidence their candidates can salvage the expanding ungoverned space in Nigeria.
We want to present a message of hope to Nigerians that regardless of the hopelessness, there is a shining light at the end of the tunnel if we can just hold on a little longer.
Obi-Dient movement is also not limited to Nigeria, as our diaspora community, consisting of some of the most brilliant brains, victims of what we call brain drain.
Really been active.
The vice presidential candidate of the party, Dati Baba Ahmed, has also confirmed that he does not have any presence on social media, neither does he pass any information on social media. Reacting to reports from social media handles, the Labour Party vice presidential candidate has disclaimed any presence whatsoever on the platform. He says the party will roll out its campaign team in few days.
What you see there are not me. Simple. And the questions are fairly related. Specifics. In the last 3 weeks, my honorable team tried to have one verified that has not yet been verified. So up till this moment, I do not have a verified social media. So for safety reasons, consider all of them as unauthentic and fake.
A lot of citizens are apprehensive about the challenges confronting the country and its implication on the nation's stability. As the 2023 election approaches, it is expected that political contenders need to factor in core issues in their campaign. To other observers, the war of words between major political candidates represent a fallout of a faulty political system in Nigeria. Habib Alawal, TVC News, Abuja.
In the meantime, a coalition of civil society organizations has flagged off a sensitization campaign on voter education and civic participation. The campaign hopes to educate and mobilize citizens to pick interest in performing their civic duties ahead of the 2023 general elections. Tijisu Adeoye reports.
6 months to Nigeria's highly anticipated 2023 general elections. The pressure is getting more intense as the Independent National Electoral Commission records about 20 million newly registered voters. This increase in voter registration has given rise to calls for citizens to be more aware of their voting rights and the importance of voting their conscience. In Abuja, a group of civil society organizations have unveiled a sensitization campaign they call Value Your Vote. The campaign is to raise the participation of youths, women, and persons with disabilities, as well as increase voters' understanding of key election information ahead of the general elections.
Politicians are definitely going to come and ask you to buy your votes, and that is because your votes are valuable and because your votes actually do count. My appeal to you is do not sell your vote.
The leadership recruitment process is something that the people need to understand very well how to go about it, and it's something that you should value as we are going to the polls. Now the politicians have weaponized poverty and ignorance to the point that Nigerians go to the poll and they follow the sheepish romanticizing of people's emotion by the political class to vote wrongly over time.
This campaign is significant to me because it is a call to responsibility. It's a call to everyone seated here to take up the decision to be responsible, not just for you, but for everyone who is dependent on you.
Reports we receive from INEC indicated that there are so many PVC cards are lying down in the offices uncollected. So there's no way you can vote except you come with your PVC card.
Registered voters have also been encouraged to ensure they collect their PVCs and choose leaders only based on credibility and competence. TJ Suadioye, TVC News, Abuja.
The federal government has described the hike in the price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, as illegal. Minister of State Petroleum Resources Timipri Silva spoke at a consultation forum on petroleum regulation in Abuja, where he claimed that the federal government has not regulated the commodity. He, however, assured Nigerians that the hike in petrol pump price will be looked into. Celestine Area reports.
Section 216 of the Petroleum Industry Act's mandates the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to consult with stakeholders prior to finalizing any amendment to regulations. These regulations are integral in ensuring the Petroleum Industry Act is fully operational and will enable investment and ease of doing business, create employment opportunities for Nigerians, and prevent undue burdens on industry players. Regulations being considered are Petroleum Transportation and Shipment Regulations, Assignment and Transfer of License and Permit Regulations, Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Operations Regulations, Petroleum Pipeline Regulations, Gas Price and Domestic Demand and Delivery Regulations, Natural Gas Pipeline Tariff Regulations, Midstream and Downstream Decommissioning and Abandonment Regulations, Environmental Regulations for Midstream and Downstream Operations, Midstream and Downstream Gas Infrastructure Funds Regulations, Environmental Remediations Fund Regulations.
Regulation is like policy. This is the policy of doing this. There are guidelines. You have to do this. Of course, as a regulator, we are here to enable investment. At the same time, we are like police. We have to be guided by the provision of either the policy or the regulation.
But what do these regulations mean to the layman on the streets, motorists, commuters, small, medium and large-scale business owners who rely on petroleum products, especially fuel, to operate and stay in business? In recent times, 4 accused have disappeared and reappeared in FCT and environs, and was also accompanied by a hike in pump price. A litre which sold for 165 naira now sells for 175 naira or 185 naira per litre. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Timipri Silva says the government did not increase the pump price of PMS.
Tell you authoritatively, we have not deregulated. The government is subsidizing. If there are increases in the price, it is not from the government. It's probably from the marketers. But of course, I will talk to the authority chief executive to ensure that they actually regulate the prices. But this is not from the government. We have not deregulated.
These regulations are the primary enablers of the federal government's Decade of Gas initiative and will help capitalize investment and enhance the attractiveness of the domestic gas value chain. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.